Hi, everyone. My name is Dr. Lulu, aka the Mamatrician. Welcome to the Parents of Queer Kids show. I am a pediatrician, a life coach. I work specifically with parents of LGBT plus kids. I am also a queer person myself, as well as a parent ally. I'm a mother of three, and my eldest child is transgender. I was born, bred, buttered, and slightly burned in Nigeria, one of the most homophobic countries in the universe, as a matter of fact. I want to tell you my story. I want to share my why. I want to talk about why and how I started doing this work and why you should listen to me. Okay, so I was only 11, I think, when I realized that I liked girls as well as boys. I was in an all girls high school, and it was a boarding school. And as I got older, I realized I was essentially in a real life buffet, but I couldn't have anything on the menu because I didn't know what was happening. I was just trying my best to understand what was happening. So I didn't do anything about it and never acted on it. When I turned 16, after graduating from high school, I told my dad that I liked girls and boys. My dad is Nigerian, he's Igbo, he's Catholic, he's a red cap chief, and he wasn't having it. He said, "It's a phase, Nne. It's going to go away. Don't worry about it." And I did what many children would do. I believed him. It's what kids do. They believe their parents. They really think their parents are next to God. So I believed my dad. I grew up and I did my very best to not think about this aspect of myself. 26 years later, it was not phasing away. The math wasn't mathing. I was still liking girls. I still just was who I was. And so I decided to act on it at that point. Also, at that point, I had already had one marriage to my ex husband. We got divorced. I got three kids out of that. And then I married my now ex wife. And so I am one of the people, maybe one of the few people that you will know that can say that in one sentence. I have an ex husband and I have an ex wife. It just is what it is. So I got married to my ex husband, had my first child, and watched the child grow and develop and become who I didn't want them to become. When my eldest was about 2 to 3 years of age, I told my mom, I said, "Mom, I think he's gay." Yes, the child was assigned male at birth. So we're going to use the old pronouns for part of the story, and then we'll morph into the pronouns as the child grew. And that's the truth. So I was like, "I think he's gay." And my mom was like, "Bring the holy water right now." And I was like, "For what?" She's like, "Don't say that again. This, that, and the other." We're also Catholic. Did I tell you that? So I did what many people would do. I left it alone and kept asking God, "Why me? Why me? Of all the things you could do in your omnipotence and omni knowledge, why me? Gay kid. Why?" So, about the age of 12 or so, I took a chance and inquired if we were gay. And the answer I got was, "Mom, I'm not sure." Unfortunately for me, the thought never left my head. And somewhere along the line, I caved in to pressures from actually a guy that I was dating at that time who said we had to take the kid to be prayed on. Pray. So I have a friend who was a pastor and took the kid to a pastor. To this date, I still don't know fully why I did it. I just know I did it. I didn't want my child to be gay. I wanted my child to just be like any other child, not gay. And then I wanted the gay prayed away. I mean, that's the truth. I wanted the gay prayed away. Thankfully, none of that conversion stuff that you hear about, none of that happened. It was really more of a counseling session. According to my kid, the gentleman asked questions and told him at that time that it was sinful and he was going to go to hell and all these things. Nothing new. I wish I could take that back. I know I can't. But like Queen Maya Angelou said, when you just keep doing your best until you know better, and then you do better. So that's what's going to be kind of the through line for most of my talks. So we left that alone, moved to Texas, and about the age of 16, my eldest helped start their high school gender sexuality alliance, I guess, meeting. And so it became official that we are, in fact, gay. We never really came out in the true sense of the word. We never talked about it. We never mentioned it in the house again. However, I was relentless in my gay bashing. I was relentless in my homophobic slurs. I would see a random gay guy just minding his business. And I'd be like, well, why you gotta be so gay? You know, I was hating on Miss J on America's Top Model. I just, I got carried away. And I was married to my ex-wife at that point. I was living as a lesbian. Oh, I am bisexual. So I was just living my life. At no point did I think, what's all this doing to my child? How is my kid feeling as I use all these terminologies? It was not good. In her own words, she said, Mom, our home was extremely homophobic. You and my ex-dad were extremely transphobic. And yes, ex-dad. More to come about that. So my intention with this channel is to talk to parents of LGBT plus kids who have decided that they would like to support their kids and don't know how to proceed, who, like me, struggled with making heads and tails of it, who, like me, didn't understand and maybe erroneously insisted on first understanding rather than just knowing and supporting. So this is going to be a fun channel. I will go live every Thursday around noon, I think is what I want to do, or 10 a.m., I think is what I said, around 10 a.m. And I will discuss topics that have already said are coming in from all my various sources. And I might have guests. If I have guests, the episodes will be longer because they're going to be live. I will also be doing a series of shorts on Tuesdays at 10 a.m. So my plan is to use this channel for educating as much as I can. So tell someone about it. When you watch it, please tell somebody about it. I hope it's going to be fun. I hope it's going to be educative. I see somebody watching. I'd like you to please tell me who you are, if you don't mind, because I can't see you. And my hope is that you will be wiser and challenged, but do the right thing. So, talking about doing the right thing, when my child was graduating from college in 2020, we're now 20 years old. 20 years old. Yeah, I think 20 years old at that point. I don't know. Yeah, 20 years old. During the graduation, which was virtual in 2020, the announcer kept saying they this and they that. My kid was getting the award of excellence from the College of Arts. And I was puzzled. I was like, son, because at that point we're still son, what is going on? What is this guy talking about? Who are all these people he's talking about? They this and they that. My own child did not respond. My eldest did not respond, but my middle child said, Mom, I think it's because such and such is non binary. I was like, what is that? I'd never heard the term non binary before that day, that graduation day. Never. So I did what many ignorant people like me at that time would do. I pushed back. I said, what the fuck is that? I thought you were just gay. What is this non binary about? What is it? And at one point, we actually went head to head. And that caused my kid to use the words, Mom, it's not about you, to me. And at that point, I was told that I can accept them as they are, or I can just, carry on and not have them in my life. Well, I was basically given an ultimatum. I didn't want that. I did not want the ultimatum. I wanted to be in my kid's life. And so I had to do some hard thinking. And so I'm going to ask you to do some hard thinking. If you're struggling with understanding what's going on with your kid, I get it. And if you would like to support your child, I will help you. If you would not like to support your child, you're not my client, and that's okay for you. But we have nothing to talk about. So I decided, okay, I got to look into this. And then I realized also that if I, a pediatrician and a queer person, is struggling this much with understanding what's going on, then there must be other people like me. There must be other parents like me. And I decided at that point in time to start looking into working with parents, because during that same lockdown, my private practice, which was only catering to at-risk youth, had to be shut down, but not before I realized that 80% of my patients in my practice were queer. And 80% of them struggle with toxicity at home. So I would get the kids better in the office, and they would go back home and the toxicity will continue. So my ex-wife actually said, you know what? Maybe you get your work cut out for you. Maybe you should work with the parents. Why not? It's like, well, how do I do that? I'm a pediatrician. And so I went to coaching school. I got certified as a life coach. And I decided at that point that I was going to work with parents of LGBT plus kids, even as I didn't fully understand what was going on with my child. But I figured, we can learn together, right? And I kind of started with that. And then last Christmas, everything came to a head. I got a phone call about this time last year. And my kid was like, Mom, I have something to tell you. I'm like, sure. You coming home? That kind of thing. She was like, no, I'm trans. I'm like, trans what? She said, I'm transgender. And honestly, I'm just going to be honest with you. I had always been afraid of that. At the back of my mind, the entire time, since from the days of toddlerhood, I've always been like, God, first of all, I didn't want the child to be gay. Then I didn't want the child to be trans. Because one of the things I always said was stop acting like a girl. I always said stop acting like a girl. And I realized that the child was really just being themselves. And she would say, Mom, how do girls act? I'm like, the way you're acting, that's how girls act. You're not a girl. So I took off running. I didn't want that to be true. I said, thank you, I think. I remember I managed to say thank you. And then I took off running. I ran to the nearby mall. Running, helps me think. I took off. It was bad. Eventually, when I got to where I was going, I stopped and I looked around me, and there they were: shame and guilt and fear and anxiety, self doubt, all of that. They were right there with me. They're like, "We came with you." And I started thinking. My first TEDx talk was given in 2020. And in that talk, I talked about how transgender children have a high rate of suicide, have the highest rate of suicide amongst all LGBTQ plus kids. I also talked about Black children having age 5 through 12 having twice the rate of suicide as their white counterparts. So I knew all these numbers. And then I knew that my work was cut out for me. I had to do the right thing by my child. My ex-husband was already estranged. I did not want the child to do this on their own. And so I want you, if you can hear me, to hear my heart. This is kind of how we're going to do this. So every Thursday at 10 a.m., I'm going to come live. I'm going to talk to you about something in the realm of parenting. It might be about parents. It might be about kids. It might be about family members. Just something. And if you have any questions, if you have any ideas, any concerns, anything you would like me to talk about, please type them in the comment section. I would love to hear your ideas, what you like to hear me talk about and teach about and coach about. I decided I had to just support my kid. I'm not transgender. I don't know what being transgender means. As far as I have never experienced that. I wake up every morning as a cisgendered woman. I go to bed as a cisgendered woman. But I do know that as sure as I am cisgendered, that's how sure transgender people are of themselves. So let the games begin. So March of this year, I launched my parent support group. And essentially, I have a handful of parents who want to support their kids. And we kind of went with that. In June, I did a summit for parents, and I got some more people. And we just kind of slowly been growing. And then last month, I made a pivot from a support group to a group coaching, officially group coaching, because I realized that there's a lot that I want to teach. Besides, I have an online course, I have a book coming out, I have so much going on that I want to share on that level, on that coach level. I was afraid for the longest time to identify myself as a coach. I mostly saw myself as a physician, and I kept that mindset. But about a month ago, I decided to just kind of go all in. I'm a coach, and that's it. So today, my child and I are thriving. That's the best description I can give. We are doing good. We are taking it day by day. I have discovered that most queer people like me are regular people. They don't want everything you think or everything you speak or everything you say to be only around their queerness. There's more to them than that. So I'm excited. I thank you. I hope you tell someone about this channel, tell someone about this show. Join us every Thursday at 10 o'clock in the morning. We're going to go live, and I'll see you inside. I'm so excited. Again, my name is Dr. Lulu, aka the Momatrician. Tell someone about me. Tell someone about me. My website is dr-lulu.com. I'll see you next week. Bye.